Yo, what's up? 49ers Coast to Coast. We're your hosts, Grant Cohn, Jason Aponte. Jason, how are you?
Great. What a beautiful time to cover this playoff team, and couldn't come with a better opponent this week. I feel like the '90s are back, right? I love '90s hip hop
Yes.
on the East Coast, right? Dallas, Green Bay. The only way that we can really trifecta this thing out and make amends for the things that happened in the '90s is that we find a way to get the New York Giants in the next round, so we can finish off this '90s gauntlet of teams that annoyed the 49ers.
And the way I remembered as a kid, the Cowboys were not the problem. At least when I came of age, it was the Packers. And it's funny, like the Packers broke my heart when I was a kid because I love the Niners so much. And if 7-year-old me knew what I was doing right now, he'd be really thrilled. But if he knew my attitude toward the team, he'd be so disappointed. So sorry,
Or your
7-year-old me.
prediction.
Yeah,
Or your
exactly.
prediction for the game, your younger self is like, you changed, man. You
Changed,
changed,
man.
man.
What happened to you? It's the money, isn't it? It's the money. Anyway, so I'm in Green Bay. It's cold as hell, but I'm excited. Let's do this. I've been pontificating all week. I want to ask Jason his realistic expectations for the most important people in this game, starting with Jimmy Garoppolo, who is a full participant the last 2 days and is not even on the injury report. He's playing, starting. He's good to go. What are your expectations for Jimmy in this game?
Nothing too crazy. Just 210 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and efficient on third down. And I think that'll be enough to get this game done. And I don't see why anybody wouldn't want. It's not going to be one of those 8 rush games, like 8 pass games. That's not going to happen in this game. He's going to have to make throws, and hopefully, it sounded like Kyle was playing up the thumb more than he was the shoulder when he was talking. Right, like he said, I think the thumb is bothering him way more than the shoulder is. But at this point, Jimmy knows how to play in the cold. He's from Chicago. And another thing, this game feels like the moment that always happens with Jimmy Garoppolo. What I mean by that is, just when you're ready to say he's done, he's cooked, he can't do
Couple
this, he
bad
can't do
games
that.
in a row, 5 picks in 3 weeks. Yeah. Boom.
And this is the week
Boom.
that he
He
makes
just
some of these throws.
lowers the bar. Boom.
Boom. He's gonna come out. I think that, like I said, 210 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, no fumbles, clean game. That's expectations for Jimmy Garoppolo, and the 49ers can absolutely win if he's able to duplicate that.
200. That's not asking a lot. 210 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, it's really not asking a lot. I think it's funny, like, there's a divide in Niner fans right now, like between the Jimmy supporters and the Jimmy bashers or whatever. But I think every Niner fan agrees that the path to victory involves Jimmy Garoppolo not losing the game. Like, that's what everyone says. As long as he doesn't throw picks, they're good, right? So
yeah, that's it. And see, all right. But here's the thing, too, is yes, that's true with Jimmy Garoppolo, but that's true with a lot of quarterbacks. You're not going to be able to win games if you're turning the ball over. It just seems to be explicitly about Jimmy Garoppolo and the way that things move, right? The first half, he's fine and he's great in Dallas. But then as things start to erode, that's when the interception comes. I think it's all about how you frame those interceptions. So again, no quarterback can win turning the ball over. So this isn't just explicitly about Jimmy Garoppolo, but there is something about when he throws them or when things start to happen, because it seemed like Dallas was getting back into the game and he had a chance to finish that game off. And then, the missed Ayuk and then the interception happens.
Do you expect the cold to affect him in any way? I mean, he's been in a dome the last 2 weeks. He's injured. Thumb, shoulder. What do you think?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he's a Chicago boy. He knows how cold it is. He should be fine. They'll probably put a glove on him. They should be good. And again, they're not going to ask him to throw the ball down the field that much. They just really need him to be accurate in the spaces that he is. He's just going to need to convert on 3rd and 9, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 if you're in that area. But they're still going to run the ball a ton. So I don't foresee it to be a problem because it's still not a part of his attack, even when he's in a dome or when he's warm.
Brady Hill says, I love Jim, but excited for Trey. Am I still racist? Brady, I love you. I went on a tangent yesterday about how some fans aren't excited about Trey because he's black or something. Sorry. I didn't mean you, Brady. You're a great guy. He didn't mean it like that. I don't know how I got there. Niner by Nature 88 says, why do experts and sports fans bring up the weather like it's going to give the Packers an advantage? Aren't they human too? Run the ball, damn it.
And the 49ers are more physical than them. So they're going to have to get hit in the cold over and over. George Kittle's from Iowa. Like, again, Deebo and all those guys, it's cold, but they're football players. It's not the only thing that I would say if it was weather-wise that would bother me, if it's going to be like blustery winds and everything and you can't really throw the ball. It's just going to be cold. So they should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, you think it was hard. You think it's hard enough tackling Deebo Samuel as is now in sub-degree weather. The Hyphy ambassador says, would this game potentially attract Adams to SF?
Hope so.
Never say never?
No, I'd never say never, but hope so.
What's going to happen with the Packers? I don't understand that.
Well, a lot of people are pointing to, okay, this could be Jimmy Garoppolo's last game as a 49er. This could be Aaron Rodgers' last game as a Packer, and Devontae Adams' last game as a Packer as well, right? So there's a lot of storylines to what's going on here. Basically, as the season has gone on, Rodgers is kind of falling back from that stance of just get me out of here, I'm done. Like it seems like they're on working terms.
Look when you're winning, right?
Right. They're on working terms right now. So who knows how this is going to work? You know, would I be shocked if he was able to come right back and play for the Packers? I'm sure the Packers would, invite him back with open arms. Who knows? But right now, the storyline is, well, is this going to be Jimmy Garoppolo's last game? Well, if the 49ers do what I think they're going to do, this might be Aaron Rodgers' last game. And this might be Devontae Adams' last game as a Packer too. So there's both of those storylines going in this one. There's no shortage of storylines going into this game either, especially with the LaFleur and Shanahan stuff.
Adams, Deebo, Ayuk, Kittle, Jennings.
Say a prayer. Say a prayer. No shot of stopping it.
The team's already stacked. Got to get Aaron Nagler or Greg Matzik on a Niners-Packers crossover convo. That would be fun. Although I think Aaron Nagler has really gone after me quite a lot of times on Twitter. So maybe not.
No.
Dwelly gets another TD this game. That would be great. Who? Dwelly. Who?
He plays?
Cold weather made Grant looking good. Well, thanks. Appreciate it. Take a shower. I'm not planning to not leave the hotel for the next. Don't forget this clown. Niner, not a bot, is really coming in hot these days. Wanted to give up on the season. Said this isn't a Super Bowl or playoff team. Now he is singing a different tune. Home of the faithful. Jeez.
You got me.
You got me.
Yeah, imagine saying you knew everything was gonna be fine after 3-5. Way to go, Niner bot. You got your moment, bro. Appreciate it. But the problem is, even with that I've owned many times, people are still gonna watch me, bro. And you watching me right now. So
that's right. I love this. There's been a whole undercurrent this week of like the diehards clapping back at fans who weren't faithful enough because the Niners won a wild card game. Now the Niners look very promising right now, but the season is far from over. Let's see what happens. Yeah. We're still on like episode 11 of a 17-part series. Sims and Flory are saying the exact same thing you say, Grant. Niners win in spite of Jimmy. They are also confused why it's controversial to say that.
Whatever. Florio's got to axe the grind with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo could win this game with 12 pass attempts, and he's just going to be shaking a fist at the sky just because he's just not a happy human being at all. At times, it looks like. So yeah, I don't know, man. He was cursing today. He was cursing today, like doing a little bit too much. Like I'm like, dude, like Minnesota, you're a Minnesota fan. The 49ers don't do your team dirty until it's time to play them. Like it's not like like it's not like a rivalry. It's not like you're a Seahawks fan or something like that. But he seems to have some sort of axe to grind with Jimmy Garoppolo, and it's real weird.
Yeah, J-Rod says, yo, what's his name? Grant Nagler? Yeah, I think I misspoke. His name is Nagler. It came out wrong. I don't know what I said. Nager? I don't know. Sorry. Travis, thank you. Wouldn't it make sense we win with now having a better D and run game than week 3? Packers only have a better quarterback, but are we better on other positions? Packers have a good defense, too. Their running back, Aaron Jones, I always thought was really, really good. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, look, these teams are in two different places, though, in terms of where they were after week 3, right? The combination of Norman and it was Norman and Mosley that first week. Might come down to that if Ambry Thomas doesn't play this week also. That's a little bit scary. But Elijah Mitchell wasn't in the week 3 game. Juwan Jennings was not the third down, not the slot guy on third down. Like there's a lot of things that have changed, and now the 49ers are in position as healthy as they can be going into this game, and they're also playing better football than they were at that time. So it's okay to point to that week 3 game as a way to look at maybe what could happen. But when you look at it and say the 49ers lost by 3 at the buzzer with that team and how stagnant that offense was, I think it should make you optimistic because you know the offense isn't going to come out that bad, especially right now with the way Elijah Mitchell is and the way that they're using Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, I keep going back to Deebo. The way that they've changed how they use him kind of reminds me of like Steph early in his career. Came in the league, he's this great 3-point shooter. And like back then, people didn't shoot 15, 20 threes a game. He could sort of cap him at 5 or 6. And all of a sudden, as 2014, 2015 came along, you just saw like, maybe they shouldn't limit him. And now with the Niners, maybe we shouldn't limit Deebo. Maybe we should give him 8, 9, 10, because no one's beating the Niners when they do that. So it's going to be really interesting to see if the Packers can be that team. No one has beaten the Niners when Deebo Samuel gets 6 carries. That's it.
And one more thing, too, that is a little bit different is Kenny Clark blew that game up on the inside. Alex Mack has been phenomenal, and he stepped his game up a lot, too. So that is not something that you should be seeing. And also, I really believe that DeMeco Ryans is learning how to beat chips. If you notice that Nick Bosa sack that was given in Dallas, he knew he was going to get chips, so he sent them on a stunt, and he got a free run. So DeMeco's starting to pick that up, and they're not going to be able to run that. So, again,
that was the best call of the game for DeMeco, by the way.
I loved it.
Phenomenal.
He knew exactly what was about to happen. He saw it, and he sent the stunt. So now these week 3 teams, they're not the same teams right now. So that's the thing that's why Green Bay could say whatever they want. I mean, I know they're not talking crazy or their fans are, but this is not the matchup they wanted, and this is not the matchup that many teams want. So
love you two together. My nickname for Jason is Grant Clone. Is that an inside joke on Twitter?
No, it's Jason. It's Jason Cohn or Grant Aponte. Just because I come on here, and I talk with you, so yeah, it is.
Enough. Yeah. We're gonna get back to our show, and then we'll finish your questions in a little bit. All right, gave you realistic expectations for Jimmy, which I thought were quite reasonable, not too tough to attain. What about Nick Bosa? Nick Bosa is questionable for the game, but Kyle Shanahan basically said, look, we had to list him as questionable because he's in a protocol, but it's looking good. I think every person that's been listed as questionable this year for the Niners has played, so. Assuming he plays, what do you think? Realistic expectations for Bosa?
5 pressures and at least 1 sack. And the pressure should be really good in terms of getting somebody else there. And it's crazy because Nick Bosa leaves this Dallas game. And in the second half, Dak Prescott was pressured on 48% of his dropbacks. That is half. How did you do that? How did you do that?
Omenihu went crazy. I mean, everyone did, but who the hell is that? And it's like anytime the Niners sign a defensive lineman from now on, I'm like, okay, well, Chris Kosarick signed off. He's going to be good. Just give him like 2 months.
Yeah.
2 months.
Again, we have to talk about.
Just wait for Maurice Hurst.
Right. But when we're talking about like the draft picks that they've missed, you still have to give them credit for when they pick up these guys who are talented. They bet on the talent and they're able to get that out of him. So, I mean, this pass rush is in a whole different place. If Nick Bosa is there just being the constant force and drawing all that attention, then it opens things up. Eric Armstead had a phenomenal game. DJ Jones has been great. Arden Key's great. So I just think that. Right. Like Bosa doesn't necessarily have to have sacks to be impactful in this game. If he's pressuring Aaron Rodgers to move into another sack, that's just as good in my opinion. So I think 5 pressures to do it in 1 sack.
Yeah. It's interesting. He's only had 1 sack in the last 4 games. I think it's pretty clear that he's drawing a ton of attention and everyone else is eating. So if that's how you want to pick your poison, great. And I think what I'd like to see from DeMeco, he's getting it. He knows what he's doing, but Omenihu, probably is a little bit better than Ebukam. I mean, you have so much depth, but Omenihu seems like he probably earned a little more playing time with how he played in that second half.
And that's the thing too, is all offseason we were talking about, man, this defensive group might be deeper than 2019. Yeah. And it is, right? Kevin Givens, all these guys, right? And that's the thing is fresh legs and guys who are producing. Fresh legs don't matter if you're not getting to the quarterback anyway, but they have a constant amount of guys lately that have just been producing. And again, you have to give this front office respect for as many times as we take them to task on missed draft picks. All of these other picks, trading for Jordan Willis and trading for Omenihu,
he's good.
Round pick. Yeah,
he's just a little injured, but he's really good. Dude, yeah. Chris Kosarick, can we just say real quick? Holy shit! This guy is so. I've never seen a position coach. Like with this batting average, man, he's batting like 1,000. The only one he missed on were people that he inherited, like Solomon Thomas, where there was really nothing he could do. I mean, what a freaking asset. The other one is Javon Kinlaw, who's just really too injured to get the Chris Kosarick effect. I think in the future they don't need to be drafting defensive lineman in round 1. I mean, they did with Bosa, but wow, they can make these guys later on in the draft so good.
It's so crazy. I posted a clip of Eric Armstead getting a sack in week 3. And it's literally in that same clip, Javon Kinlaw is spinning out of a double team and he's getting towards the quarterback. And I had people in my replies. I actually really forgot that Javon Kinlaw was on this team. But that's a good thing in terms of this. That means that all these other guys are producing and DJ Jones has gotten to fill that spot. So imagine your pick that, a lot of people were upset about because of what's going on with his injury. But at the same time, it doesn't seem to be harming this team in any way. And that's just crazy to think. Hey, Javon Kinlaw could be back next year in the fold as well too to help. So it's crazy. It's insane.
I don't know what this is right now. They lost the Super Bowl. They're going back in the playoffs. I don't know if this is but whatever. It's not a dynasty, but whatever it is. This regime is defined by some big misses early in the draft, and just bailing themselves out either with undrafted free agents, late round picks, or throwaway free agents. I mean, Javon Kinlaw is a bust, but you have Arden Key step up. Like, oh, okay, well, great. Well, Arden Key's way better anyway, so who cares? Really? I mean, how many times has that happened? Trey is nothing, but Elijah Mitchell is amazing. Great, sweet.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We can say what we want about missed picks and all those, but you have to give them credit when they do things like this. Undrafted free agents, Jawan Jennings in the 6th round, right? Like they are masters at betting on traits and then getting the best of those traits. So
this team is as stacked, honestly, as the 94 Niners. It's as stacked as the 97 and 98 Broncos. The difference is they don't have a Hall of Fame quarterback. And it's crazy. Imagine what this team would look like with prime Steve Young or old John Elway. But they don't got him. They got, I don't know what you want to call him, but the guy he makes it interesting. He makes it interesting. Oh, well.
I know you love watching it.
Oh, well. Yeah. All right. Junior Beckold says this SF team definitely has that 2019 vibe going on. Remember when you had those mean things to say about DeMeco Ryans early in the year? No. I've never said a mean word about DeMeco. DeMeco's great. Love DeMeco.
It seems like everybody's getting at us for our old takes. Hey, I never said anything about that one time. I didn't say anything about DeMeco. I was preaching patience, so I don't want to hear that one.
I'm just gonna stand pat, and if the Niners win the Super Bowl, then I'll say a bunch of apologies. But until then, I've seen them come 6 minutes away and lose it. All right, so I'm gonna just chill.
Can we talk about just one more take real quick? That I mean, it's not a 49er take, but Cliff Kingsbury.
For the record, I never said he was good. I said the roster was good and they might overcome him, but damn, fire him.
I told you, dude, and there was somebody who sent me like what I said about like all the additions, AJ Green, all of them. I'm like, bro, as long as Cliff Kingsbury is there, nobody cares. Nobody cares. They're gonna fold like they do every December.
Here's the thing, though. If they fired Cliff Kingsbury, that would be such a hot job. They were 8-2 when Hopkins was healthy. This is the first year he ever missed.
No, sign Cliff to a lifetime contract. No, Cardinals, don't listen to us. Don't fire that man. What are you talking about?
I am equal opportunity quality control. Fire that man. Hire Mike McDaniel and DeMeco Ryans.
Don't listen to this man. Don't listen to him. Do not listen to him.
Will we see Packer fans crying come Saturday?
Yup.
Ooh. Spoiler alert. Trey Niner says, do you see this as another high-scoring game? I think cold weather games give the advantage to offenses due to the lack of wanting to tackle. What do you think?
I don't know. I probably got it like in that 28-24 range. This is going to be one of those games that's going to be much closer. I don't think the 49ers are going to do what they did in the 2019 NFC Championship, but I do think that they'll have enough to impose their will and finish the game off. Again, as long as Jimmy Garoppolo does what he does, like 200 yards, touchdown, no interceptions, this team should be okay to get it done because the defense is playing at a high-ass level, and that offense is going to be tough to stop. The Packers' run defense is really, really ripe for the picking in this one, so we got to find out about that.
The thing about them is they're particularly vulnerable against rushing quarterbacks. Have you seen that? Yeah. Ryan Starr says Greenlaw, Aziz, and Thomas didn't play in week 3. Yeah,
Aziz did.
But it was like Norman and Diamador.
It was Norman and Mosley.
Right, but then Norman left. He no,
it was K1 got hurt in the game, and then they moved Lenore in, and he had to play a little bit more. Like K1 got beat on that slot fade.
I think Norman went to the hospital at that game. He got his lung was messed up. Am I tripping? Anyway, Rob Gotti says, shout out to my favorite people that cover the squad. Let's go Niners.
Appreciate you, Rob. What a nice guy. See, you can say nice things, guys.
Do you think Ambry plays? All right, let's go right there. Realistic expectations for Ambry Thomas. He's questionable, which to me means he's going to play. I think every single player who's been questionable for the Niners has played this year. Bone bruises his knee. Reasonable expectations for Ambry.
Well, Kyle didn't seem as optimistic when he was talking about him.
Tell me your read on that.
It sounded like he was bracing himself just in case that he doesn't play. Like with Bosa, he was like, he's not out of the protocol, but I don't see any, like he just was fine with it. He knew what was going on. And I believe there was a video floating out there of him moving around. He wasn't moving around as well. It's fine. It's practice and it's a bone bruise. Like, you can work through it. But here we are, the divisional round.
Here's what he said real quick. I'm hoping he'll go. That's why we got him as questionable. I think it'll be all right, but that'll come down to seeing how he is on game day.
Right. Here we are in the divisional round, and right now 49er fans are freaking out as to whether Ambry Thomas is going to play in this game, man. What a roller coaster of a season and the way things move. But let's just say he does play. The 49ers ran, I think it was like about 70% zone against the Dallas Cowboys. And that was to not put him out there on the island or anything like that. Not put him on an island. So I would suspect that they do something like that. Either, cover 2, cover 3, or they're going to bracket because you can't let Devontae Adams eat on whoever it is. Mosley's not going to shadow him, and they move him around everywhere. The slot, left, right. Like it's going to be hard to contain. So there's no stat line that you can really put up for Ambry Thomas. Of course, you'd love an interception, but he just needs to be solid and not give up the big plays or anything like that. And DeMeco Ryans is doing a phenomenal job of not putting him out to dry against any of these guys. And I think he did great this week.
Let me ask you this. I don't think Marquez Valdez-Scantling is playing.
He's doubtful.
Okay, so it's Adams, right? That's their guy. And my question to you is, when the Packers do their homework and they watch the film, who are they going to decide they want to go after first in the secondary with Adams?
Thomas, if he's there, if he gets to
he's injured.
Right. He's injured. He's a rookie. He's injured. He's a rookie. Mosley has interceptions against Aaron Rodgers. And again, that's not a slight at Ambry Thomas. If I'm a quarterback, right, and there's one guy on one side, you look at him, just like the 49ers of 2019, Richard Sherman or Emmanuel Mosley. Of course, I'm going to try the other guy. I'm not going to try this guy. So it's not really disrespect in as more it is just a tactical thing. But they move him around everywhere. That slot fade that they run with Devontae Adams it's a thing of beauty. So it's hard to figure out who's going to be where, right? Like they're just going to move him around. There's no way that they would allow him to get taken out of the game because of the things that they run for him, where they slide him, right, and those rub routes that they run. And him and Rodgers have like this connection where it's like unspoken. They know exactly where they're going with the ball. They know exactly what they're doing. So it's no Robert Tonyan in this game, out for the year. Alan Lazard, and it's going to be Devontae Adams. Those are the three guys that you really need to watch on the outside.
Is it realistic to expect Ambry Thomas to get a lot of work in this game?
I don't know about that. They need to have somebody ready to go right away, just in case. I mean, I
can't imagine
targets.
Are they? That's what I mean. Are they going to? Because to me, he's played. He had a few good games, and then people backed off him and pretty much haven't tested him recently. I think he's going to get tested a lot. What do you think?
We'll see. I mean, again, if they know that he's on the injury report with a bone bruise, then why wouldn't you test him out? And in the same way that his confidence has gone up with a few good plays, that's how quickly things can sink if you start to get beat and cooked a little bit more. So I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen to him, but if I was on the other side, I am not going to go at the guy who's been very good his entire season. I'm going to see what that kid's knee is about. I'm going to see what he's made of right now, and I'm going to try. And if he makes a play, cool, then okay, we got to be a little bit more hesitant to go that way. But you still have to figure out.
That's what happened in Tennessee, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
They went after him first, and then they were like, this is hard. Let's just go at Norman. And then Norman never played again.
Good.
Fumbles scare me more than picks this week. Kittle, Ayuk, Deebo, Jimmy have all had times they put the ball on the turf. Thoughts?
No turnovers, none. And it can't happen in this game. Thank God that was an incomplete pass on that one to man.
That was very un-Kittle, man. Even though it didn't count, it was like, dude.
I would have let that ball hit the ground. It didn't feel like that was going anywhere. It was only going to be bad things that were going to happen on that play. But I understand he's a competitor and he's going to run for every yard. I get that part. But yeah, man, I was just like, when he threw it, I was just like, let it go. And then when I finally started to hit the ground, I was like, thank God, because that would have been a killer, a fumble. But I'm not worried about the fumbles as much. I think that Alex Mack and Jimmy have gotten away from that. Like, they don't have that problem anymore where they just put it on the ground or anything like that. Again, clean game. You could probably get away with one turnover in this game. One. And whether that be an interception or a fumble, that's the only thing that you can really give up in this game because the Packers will make you pay. They are not Dallas.
Why does porn star Jimmy miss these wide open receivers? Yips. The one to Sherfield that was intercepted, he was throwing on the run. I mean, he's got to drag his back foot or anchor himself so that he doesn't miss wildly high or wildly low. I mean, there are techniques for this. I don't really see him practicing that very much. What did you see on the miss to Ayuk down the field?
It was a blaze out, and he was open, and he flattened the route just like he should have. That should have really put the game away, man. Shout out to Brandon Ayuk.
What happened?
I don't know. I mean, they'll say it's the shoulder. That's fine, but that's a throw that sometimes gets missed even when it's warm in a dome. It doesn't really again, it didn't make me upset because you know what you're getting week to week from Jimmy Garoppolo. You're going to get one or two of those throws that you're just like, Jimmy, come on, man. It was right there for you, dude. But it was a good blaze out. And Trevon Diggs, you getting cooked, my guy. What happened? Brandon Ayuk was smoking your boots, man. That was bad.
He really was. You made Brandon Ayuk look really good. Now, Ayuk, I know we're not talking about Ayuk right now. Maybe we should do a thing about him, but he had the rough start to the season. Ended up having a really good year. Just wanted to point that out. He had not a phenomenal year, but he had an excellent year. Just want to point that out. Like, I remember like the discourse on him 3 months ago was ridiculous, and we said that.
No, it was, and that's what's funny about it, and I think that's what a lot of fans are frustrated about. It's like, man, you held this man back for this many weeks, and then like on the back end of the season, he still almost finished with 1,000 yards. How?
The difference between the first half of the season and the second half of the season is all based on how they use their personnel. I mean, in the second half of the season, they had Armstead inside full time. Second half of the season, they had Deebo playing running back. They had Ayuk getting targeted. I mean, really, the Niners put themselves in a hole in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways. But they figured it out. Hopefully, this hole that they built for themselves doesn't cost them ultimately.
Method to the madness. It still worked, and they're in the playoffs still. So,
is there a reason our defensive line coach isn't being considered for jobs elsewhere? The dude can straight up produce talent. Well, I don't know. Look at Tom Sula. Sometimes position coaches, but I don't know. I mean, he's so good at what he does.
And I was gonna say, what if he's not interested in that? Because he seems to have a ton of fun. Like when we were at camp, when we were at the joint practices, dude, you can hear this man yelling from the other side of the side field. Like the two fields that they had in LA for those Chargers practices, all you could hear is one guy yelling like a maniac. That was Chris Kosurik getting his guys hyped. So maybe this is just something he loves to do. And maybe sometimes guys don't have those sort of aspirations. And, there's a lot of other trendy names, right? Right now, what everybody is trying to find as a head coach is their Shanahan, is their LaFleur, is their McVay. They're trying to find these young guns. That's why Brandon Staley got a job. They're always trying to find this young, new, hip thing. And Chris Kosurik doesn't really strike me as that type, right? Like that's another reason probably.
But the thing about him, I think he's pretty much universally regarded as the best defensive line coach in the NFL. I wouldn't be surprised if he's making like $1 million a year as a position coach. So if you're making that much money to do a job you like what's the problem?
And if the defense doesn't play well, they're not going to come ask you to go to the press conference. They're going to talk to DeMeco Ryans.
Exactly. All right, we're going to get back to our show. We'll get back to our comments in a minute. Give me your real I'm not talking well today, man. Let me try again.
It's cold, man.
It is. Give me your realistic expectations for Deebo Samuel.
He's gonna have a big game, man. I mean, he has to for this team. He has to. I mean, every time that this team needs a play, every time that they need a moment, right? Like it's so crazy, right? And I don't want to get a little too ahead of myself, but that moment in the Dallas game where he tells Kyle after the interception, "Give me the ball," and he walks right over to the huddle and he says, "Let's put this in the box, boys." And then he does it like that's a Babe Ruth like type thing. That's the type of thing,
Joe Montana thing, right? I was John Candy, and it's like, did he say that? Yeah,
like when they make the DVD of like those championship teams, like stuff like that they do at the end of the year. That's one of those moments that you'll look back and be like, bro, like there it is, and he's done it multiple times. So they're gonna need him this week, and he's relishing this role. And he's. I mean, I'm not gonna give you a stat line. I just know he's gonna have a big game, and all they need him to do is just do what he's been doing. Be in the backfield, 6 to 8 touches. That's fine, but catch the ball because I do think that they're gonna have to throw the ball a little bit more, and he's gonna have to work on some routes here. So that's up to Jimmy Garoppolo in this one.
Having one of the most incredible seasons I've ever seen. If the Niners win the Super Bowl, you can go back to when they were about to lose in Chicago and it was 3rd and a mile and Deebo Samuel saved the season. I mean, and then in Dallas last week, I mean, they weren't losing, but just how he asserted himself at so many key moments this year. It's amazing. I expect that. I feel like they cap him at, I feel like 10 touches a game. If he gets 8 carries, he gets 2 catches. And that's so arbitrary. When I was a kid, T.O. would routinely get 15, 16 catches in a game. Like, this is your season here. Right. I like to see 8 catches, 8 carries. What's wrong with that?
Empty the tank. Empty the tank.
What
are we saving this for? What are we saving up for?
Yep. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for more than 150 from scrimmage and a couple of touchdowns. I mean, they'll need it. I'm That 49er Fan says, very much enjoy you both. Y'all's communication and thoughts are awesome. What's your score predictions? Keep it real. We'll get there. That's the last one.
I love that name too. I'm That 49er Fan. He's that 49er fan.
That's right. Matthew Bowman says we double cover Adams the entire game, remove him from being a factor.
You try to, but you do it with zones. Like you don't shade everybody over that way, but you always make sure that you keep an eye on that. And I think that Rodgers is much better than Dak Prescott at going through progressions in zone, right? Clearly, he's one of the best, football players ever to play the game. But It's not going to be a like a Megatron situation, right? Like with him at the goal line, they had two guys just standing in front of Megatron, but you do put somebody near him in zone where it's not like you're absolutely bracketing him, but you're still giving help just in case. So they definitely will be paying attention to Devontae Adams, especially when you look at the guys that they're missing in this game. No MVS.
Exactly.
Again, it'll just be Allen Lazard. Tunyon is not playing in this game. They split out Aaron Jones wide too, which is an underrated aspect of his game because AJ Dillon can stay in the backfield. They really are moving towards that positionless football thing that the 49ers are doing on both sides of the ball. So, but I wouldn't say double cover, but they definitely are going to be paying attention to him. And how could you not?
Well, this is to me a lot like the Tennessee situation where you're facing a team that has one superstar wide receiver. And although you have solid corners, neither one really is as good, matches up with this guy. And what can DeMeco do to not get beat by one guy? Because if the Niners lose, they're going to get beat by one wide receiver. And they did a few weeks ago. Now what? Tennessee scored 20 points in that game. So it's not like DeMeco lost that game, but still there were those long third and long conversions that he can't let happen in this game. And I'm sure they watched that game. So if you only have one real threat on those obvious passing downs, there are some specialty coverages you can go to. I mean, you can do stuff like in basketball, like a box and one where you have a man lock on him and you play zone across everywhere else. I mean, there are ways to pretty much force Rodgers to go other places.
Yeah, and in zone, you can just have your corner just play outside leverage, and you have to have somebody on the inside as well to cover both sides. Like, and that's not a bracket. That's not them both. Like, you're still in your zone and you're playing your zone, but that's got to be a way for you to try to take off both sides because they have so many option routes, and they trust Aaron Rodgers to say, Devontae Adams is the number one target on every progression. And that it sounds like it's that's how it is for everybody. No, it's not like that for everybody. The Saints don't do that with Michael Thomas, and other guys don't do that. But the reason that they do that with Aaron Rodgers is because Rodgers will look around and say, okay, I like what I got with Adams. They know the rapport, and they're like, man, he's going to do it. He's going to do the right thing with the ball. But if you're able to at least slow him down, because you're not going to stop Devontae Adams. He didn't really kill them in week 3. He didn't really kill them. Like, that wasn't like he was destroying them. He had that touchdown, which when you watch it was just that thing that they do where they bring him across the formation and then just run him back and they just throw it to him and it's easy walk in. But and in the last drive, he had a few catches. Fred almost got his hand on the ball, but you're not going to stop Devontae Adams. You're not going to stop him. You just can't let him kill you. You can't let him go off on you.
Evan Osborne says Jimmy's just a smiley, unapologetic millionaire. He definitely cares about his teammates, but there's something heartless about him. I was a Jimmy stan. I mean, that's almost like a haiku. I was a Jimmy stan. I hear you, man. I kind of feel you on that. But I'm not a millionaire, and I don't know how it feels to be an unapologetic millionaire. But I guess the way he has no conscience at post-game press conferences does make me giggle, and I look forward to it.
So let me play the positive side of that.
Go for it.
So the thing about that is you want to see him upset about certain things, but I think the thing that people really like, especially during games when you point to certain stats right after interceptions, is that he has no memory, right? And he's able to just bounce right back and just go with it, right? So maybe in the press conference you want to hear him say some other things, but on the field, right? But on the field, you definitely have to have him like, hey, get it out of your mind and go. Like, and that's the one thing that I will say about him. Even if the next throw isn't the best one, he still doesn't have that like, oh, I don't know about this one. Like, he's just like, screw it. Like, let's go with it. And that can be good. I'll give him that.
I'm still sad my mom got me a Garoppolo jersey for Christmas. Man, she got that on sale too. She went to Target and she was like, 30% off.
Come on, man. Troy,
thank you. Anthony says, why did Deshaun Watson have to get himself in trouble this past offseason? Imagine him running this team. Wow. I'm Team Trey, but man, do you think it was that close?
I wanted Watson.
You think it was that close?
I don't know if it was that close, but they definitely wanted him. And Kyle was trying to right his wrongs.
Do you think Trey wearing BLM on his helmet has anything to do with his absence after his Cards debut and possibly causing locker room dissent? I didn't even notice that.
No. Because there's guys in this locker room that have said things in the other direction, and that's really never put anything up, and nobody's ever really said anything about that. So
yeah, good point, guys. Like, yeah, dude says, will we see you apologizing to Kyle during his press conference after we win the Super Bowl this year? In the press conference? No. But I'll do it on the show. And they have to win the Super Bowl first, though. Can we get some chonies in the chat? I'm tired of seeing us win but feeling like we lost. Choney squad out. Oh no.
It doesn't feel like a loss. It's just you know that Jimmy Garoppolo can't perform like that in this game if you expect to win in the
Hey,
second half.
man,
But
I
he did
remember
enough in the
watching
first half.
Dude, I remember watching the 2000 Ravens. They were winning in spite of Trent Dilfer. The team was dominant. They won the Super Bowl. They moved on from Trent Dilfer. He was off the team. He won the Super Bowl and he was gone. I mean, Jimmy could do the same thing this year. It's who cares if the quarterback is the best player or the worst player on the team? It doesn't matter. If they
win
win
the bowl. Just win the bowl.
Win the game. Grant, 2 questions. Have you bought Jimmy Ward's jersey, and why are you calling out Quan Williams for rocking denim on denim?
Hold up. Yeah. Hold up. I gotta get it. I gotta get it from my guy from North Jersey. That's Patterson, New Jersey right there. I knew for a fact that K1 was getting an interception. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I posted that and I was like, that's an aggressively Northern New Jersey fit. When you pull up with the Yankee fitted, with the hoodie, with the jean jacket, and the construction Air Force Ones, the only way that could have made it more gully is if he pulls up with the ACGs or the Timbs. That was when I knew K1 Williams was there. He was there, and I knew what kind of time he was on. And I was on. I did my press. I did my post game. My pregame with Brad, and I saw that picture, and I was like, K1's going off in this game because I know that look. If you pull up with that Yankee fitted, that jean jacket, that hoodie, and then the construction Air Force Ones, I know what time you're on, K1. I knew exactly what was coming, bro. I knew
K1 almost never talks to the press, and I'm so used to the players on the team being from the South. So when he started talking, I was like, no way, no way.
That's Patterson, New Jersey.
So denim on denim is acceptable in New Jersey?
Oh, that's an aggressively Jersey, New York outfit. Aggressively New York, New Jersey outfit. I promise you, man.
All right, cool. All right, I respect it. All right, we're gonna get Niner not a bot. We're gonna start with you next. All right. Realistic expectations for Elijah Mitchell. This guy hasn't had less than 21 carries in his last 6 starts. He has never fumbled, ever. Not in the NFL, not in college. People said I was jinxing him. Apparently, he's unjinxable, man. He has not fumbled since, I don't know, maybe ever in his life. We think realistic expectations.
25 touches. That's it. Don't even mess around. And he needs to be a vital part of this offense. I mean, the numbers didn't necessarily look good, but they were still moving the ball with him. You know, the first drive, that was magic. But, you know, when you look at 24, 97, something like that, not exactly efficient, but it's about time control and it's about time of possession. This needs to be a big Elijah Mitchell game. And you need to feed him that rock until he throws up, man. And because this defense can be beat, you want to make those outside guys tackle and you want to punish them. And Elijah Mitchell's going to be the guy. It's going to be him and Deebo. That's it. Have you noticed that Jeff Wilson has played better when he wasn't there, and still it's just like he's nowhere near touching the ball? It's either Elijah Mitchell or it's Deebo. There is no other guy in the running back room that they trust at this point. Yeah.
Well, Jeff Wilson Jr. has put the ball on the ground in the past. I think if the Niners had a different quarterback, like if they had Steve Young in his prime right now and they could put up 40, 45, 50 points with these weapons, they wouldn't have to feed Elijah Mitchell 25 times because, frankly, he's not one of the 4 or the top 3 weapons on the offense. But what he does is he doesn't turn the ball over. And he's good. He's good, and you don't have to worry about a turnover on that play, which is a big deal because on pass plays, you always do. So I do think he's really important that the expectation is large usage, no turnovers.
And he just has to keep the offense on schedule. That's it. Yeah, keep them close
on 3.5 yards a carry. No problem.
Right. Like, just put them in 3rd and 3.
Yeah, no problem. Absolutely. Because, Nick, if they can get the shift executed correctly, usually Jimmy Garoppolo can get those 3 yards with the quarterback sneak, usually.
Or one.
I like Elijah, but imagine a Deebo Mostert rush duo. That would be cool, too. I hope his career isn't done. I hope his knee isn't just dust.
Yeah, I hope not either. But that's why Deebo's being used like that. He's still missing that home run ability, Kyle is in Mostert. He's missing that. And that's where he's getting it from with Deebo. It's just every time the ball's in his hands, he has a chance to take it to the crib. It's the same thing with Raheem Mostert.
Absolutely, which is crazy that they drafted Trey Sermon. That's so not like him. Anyway, what was that? It's like they had a brain fart for a second. Anyway.
They could have had Javonte Williams, whatever.
That Niner guy says there is no way Rodgers is getting traded to the Niners, all caps. We are rivals. Head coach and GM will be fired in the spot. Please stop talking about this.
Were we talking about this?
Someone asked us.
What, that Rodgers is going to get traded to the Niners?
No, Devontae Adams.
Oh, he said Adams. Oh, Adams could sign there, though.
Yep.
He's a free agent.
Yeah, what do you think about the Aziz? We didn't talk about Rodgers, frankly. What do you think about the trio of Aziz, Warner, and Greenlaw? It's a hell of a trio.
And it's nice to have when Fred Warner leaves the game that you're able to go right back to Aziz and Greenlaw. You know, Greenlaw got significant. Right. And
Yeah.
and Marcel Harris played a lot in that first matchup, but Greenlaw got some significant snaps, man. He did.
You're right. Norman got hurt week 3 and has been hurting us ever since. Worst cornerback ever. Can't tackle worth a damn. Couldn't hit. I didn't see that one coming. All right. Well, that's still too soon. I think that's probably too soon for that one. Thomas Tyler says Jimmy's going to take us to the Super Bowl, lose, and come back next year to run it back because this is purgatory. We didn't make it through COVID. This is purgatory. It's like Groundhog's Day, which is purgatory. Same movie. Yeah, same concept. Probably right.
Honestly, man, bringing Jimmy Garoppolo back would be a content dream.
Oh, I hope, I pray, I wish. I can't. There's only so much I can do. But yes, I look, man, if he beats. If he's in the game when the 49ers beat the Packers, his camp can say, look, the only 2 years he's been a full-time quarterback and healthy, he's gone to the NFC Championship game. That's it. That's what else? I mean, pretty strong.
I think so too. And I think that there's a general manager that's like rubbing their hands like, oh, let me get my hands on him. We'll fix him. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay, so one more and then we'll get back to our show. Steve says, Grant, I'm concerned about our secondary. Rams had their way with them. Ward was cooked bad by Kupp. Thomas got lucky with an underthrown gift interception. K1 didn't play. No. A bunch of people missed time, right? Like Dante, Jaquasti Tart got hurt.
Right. They had Dante running against Kupp in the beginning from the slot. Obviously, they realized that's something that you can't do. That was one play that Ward gave up. Honestly, Ward, that might be the only catch I've ever seen him give up this entire season. So that was just good throw, better. And I wouldn't say that throw was underthrown to Thomas. I just think he tracked the ball better than Odell did. And, I mean, either way, look, secondary's always been the concern, always. And it was the concern last week. You know, everybody, Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, but if the front four is getting to them and you're playing your keys, you're fine, you know, and that's the way that they should be looking at it.
True. All right, back to our show. Back to our mission. Realistic expectations for DeMeco Ryans. Let me set this up real quick because he came off to me a phenomenal performance against Dallas. And maybe people disagree. I asked DeMeco, and he looked at me like, who the hell do you think you're asking me about this? But the way I saw it was, I didn't like the way he called that final drive. It was too easy for Dallas to get those 3 completions to get out of bounds. Maybe he played it right because the clock ended up running out. But anyway, it was close on that last drive, closer than it needed to be. And they gave it up against the Green Bay at the end. So my expectations with DeMeco, at least my question for you is, full game, and then the very, very, very end if it's close.
He's going to have to dial up those blitzes like he did at the right time because the 49ers don't blitz a lot. They get there with 4, and they're able to play sound defense on the back end. But there's going to be those times where Rodgers just needs a little bit of time. And the way that they negated the pass rush in the first game was obviously chipping Nick Bosa, but they had the short game clicking, and Rodgers wasn't standing there in the pocket. He knew better. He was just getting rid of it. Remember, Bakhtiari didn't play in that game. He's probably going to play in this one. Jenkins didn't play in that game, and the 49ers just assumed they were just going to get in there and rough up Rodgers. But Rodgers was smart for that, and so was LaFleur about getting the ball out quickly. So it's about timely blitzes, like as you saw on that 4th down where he sent Jimmy Ward and he brought everybody, and Dak still almost made a play. Tart was there in position, but it's going to be about the adjustments. If something's not working, if something isn't clicking the way that you thought it would, like if the 4 are not getting there, then you might want to send a 5th. But you can't do that all the time because now you're sacrificing your back end. So it's really about being the situational stuff. And it's really about when to send the blitzes, when to change up things that aren't working. And I feel like DeMeco's done a really good job of that in game, especially when you consider it's his first year.
Is it realistic to expect DeMeco Ryans not to let Davante Adams single-handedly win this game? Is that, or is he just so good? There's nothing you can do?
I mean, there's a little bit of both. Again, you can't stop Davante Adams, right? But for a large portion of that Bengals game, Jamar Chase wasn't doing much, right? And then eventually it happens, right? Because that's what's going to – so I think you have to limit it for as long as you can because it's still a world where you have to realize that Davante Adams is probably the best wide receiver in football right now.
Yeah, he's not going to get 3 catches for 35. You're not going to do what you did to CeeDee Lamb last week,
right?
Which is really what the Cowboys did to CeeDee Lamb. But, I mean, if they could keep him to under – you think they can keep him to less than 100 yards?
Yes, but it's not likely. I think that there's still a world where he can get like 105 and a touch, and they still are fine in this game. Yeah, they're still fine. And like it can't be
where's the other offense coming from, right?
Right. Exactly. And it can't be one of those games that he just had like against the Vikings where it's 11 catches for 134 and a touchdown. Like that can't happen.
That can't happen.
No.
That's a realistic expectation. That can't happen.
No,
Aaron says DeMeco and McDaniel should run it back one more year with Lance at quarterback.
I think they will.
Yeah, but these coaches don't look at it that way. They look at it as strike while the iron's hot. We could be awful next year. You know?
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people think that. Or a lot of people sink their stock by just, by saying, hey, I'm gonna put more stuff on tape and improve. But I don't suspect that with both of those guys. McDaniel, that's kind of been festering, and now it's hit a fever pitch now. And especially after that Mike Jones reference, man, his stock is through the roof at this point. And with DeMeco, I think that this is the first time that he's going to be put through it. But if he puts up another season like this, he's gone next year.
Yeah. Kyle said, Kyle becomes a member. Thank you. Corey. So Jimmy is better than Kyler now, right? Since he had 2 picks. And Kyler played like doo-doo. He did. But what would Jimmy play like if you took away Deebo and gave him what Kyler was working with? Kyler had no run game, no DeAndre Hopkins.
Hold up. But what you mean? AJ Green, Zach Ertz, here they come. Nobody cares, bro.
Yeah. AJ Green, hang it up. Do you see Kittle blocking more or receiving more against Green Bay?
Receiving more this game. No, I got him receiving more in this game. Yeah.
So why? Okay, well, realistic expectations for George Kittle. How about that?
Yeah, I think this is his game. I think this is his game right here. Because you remember, week 3, Mike McGlinchey was in at right tackle, right? You got to tape that up. Mike McGlinchey played right tackle. Alex Mack wasn't blocking as well. But now all of a sudden, Tom Compton's the best right tackle in football. He can take down Micah Parsons, whoever it is. It doesn't matter. Nothing's happening.
What a comeback story, Tom Compton. I want to get your jersey. Nice.
Shut us all the way up, man. Oh, my God.
Great story.
But where you're going to attack this Packers defense is at their linebackers. And I think Kittle had a pretty good game in week 3, right? He had a huge catch on that last drive when the offense started rolling a little bit more. They're going to need him in this game. They're going to run the ball a ton. But I think that this is going to be Kittle's game because he's going to take advantage of those coverage guys, the coverage linebackers that they have, because the offensive line has been playing so well. And Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to hold that ball. They're just going to give him quick throws. But I think that you can't win this game without George Kittle playing well in this game. So I got him on tap for a big game. And what I mean by that is like 677 and a touch. And the 49ers need that. They absolutely need that in this one.
And if Kyle's true to his pattern, if he leans heavily on Deebo as a running back in this game, then that means they're not going to throw that many passes to Deebo. They've been true to that. They haven't given him like a 16, 17 touch game. And they do know that if they win this game, they got 2 more before they're champions. So yeah, I can see that. Kittle has been quiet the last couple of games. He should be fresh. That makes sense.
And Kyle is probably holding something close to the vest in a game that he knows he really needs it. He didn't really have to empty the tank against Dallas. I thought that he was in like in the zone, but now he knows like you're really going to have your players shine in this moment for you to do this in Lambeau.
Jason, I appreciate your perspective and input. You the man. Oh, and Grant, you're okay too. You guys can arm wrestle over $10.
Oh, thank you, Barry. Appreciate you, bro.
Elijah Mitchell wants to know what realistic expectations are for Elijah Mitchell.
Elijah, listen to me. 27 carries, 285 yards, 4 touchdowns. Realistic. Go get it. Get it, kid.
Go do the Mostert thing. Go do what Mostert did.
Go get it, kid.
Dig the content and love your show with Jason, but doesn't Jason look like Sal from the Impractical Jokers?
I don't know who that is.
I don't know what that is.
No, I know what Impractical Jokers is, but which one is Sal?
I don't know. I don't even know what that is. What's that? What is that?
So basically, it's like these guys. They there's 4 of them. They're comedians. They'll send one into they'll send one of them into like a grocery store and say, hey, you gotta like tap people on the head and turn around and they'll tell them.
It's like Jackass.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, that's cool. I like Jackass a lot. Eugene Cleghorn says Dre Greenlaw looked sharp and aggressive out there last week. What do y'all think of his performance?
Yeah, he was. I mean, he had a high snap count, and he has to just control that aggression. It can't be ripping at helmets and slamming guys on the floor. Just control it. But yeah, he looks like a guy that is seeing what's in front of him right now. How everybody's talking about Aziz, and he's just like, hey man, y'all forgot about me, and he's trying to seize that moment anytime he gets back on the field, which is a great thing to see.
Salim says, how badly is running Deebo from the backfield going to affect his longevity with the team? He's an absolute stud, and we need him running, but I'm seriously worried about his health. That's a great question.
I think that's just specific to this year at this point. Like, they'll figure things out next year where they'll be able to spell, like, it could be Elijah and Mostert back next year, and I wouldn't be shocked at that. right? So
Right.
I just think that is specific to this year, just based on Jeff Wilson doesn't have that explosion. He's kind of missing that home run hitter, and just Deebo's on fire. And we always tell people, we're not coaches, but we always tell people, just get the ball in your damn playmakers' hands one way or another. So I just think that's specific to this year. I won't say that they're going to go completely away from that next year, but I wouldn't expect that to be the norm, because you're right. I don't think that you can really expect that from him.
Dirty South Maui won. There's a Dirty South in Maui. I didn't know that. Says, if Bosa can go, we will get to Rodgers like no one else this season with the way we're playing.
Yeah.
Even if he can't go, I think they might get to Rodgers from what I saw in the second half.
Yeah, Eric Armstead's playing very well now that they moved him inside. Imagine that.
Maybe go for Xavier Howard this offseason.
You got to clear some money out.
Yeah, the Knights going to be spending a lot of bread this offseason on some of their own players too. Mostert posted a video the other day throwing down his crutches, saying he's feeling better. Your thoughts on him realistically coming back?
I think there's a really good chance. I mean, how many guys have you ever seen, right, that have that type of injury that are like, they're tweeting about the team, he's on the sidelines, like he loves being there. And again, I'll go back to the way Jason Verrett described his time there was, one, you took a shot on me. This is where, I started playing again, and I want to be here. And I think that's the way Raheem Mostert is going to look at it. But at the same time, I would not be mad at him if somebody throws him a bag because of his age, and you might as well take every dollar that you can get out there. But I think that there's a realistic chance that he comes back. Yeah, I don't think so either.
He's not going to get the bag, unfortunately, because he's had a knee injury. And I think if he plays again, it'll be here. So something to look forward to. I love watching Raheem Mostert play.
Yeah.
But then again, I love watching Deebo Samuel play running back too. They better not stop with that next year. You can't. I know it's like you want to, but 6 carries is a victory. You have to. You owe it to your franchise. Sorry.
That's the number.
Yeah, that's the number. Trade McGlinchey and Kinlaw for a first. Yanks season tickets.
Well, yeah, I got my Yankees season tickets package back, but who knows if they're going to play, right? Like, I don't know what the hell's going on with baseball. And all I'm doing is setting myself up for disappointment by going to that stupid museum of a stadium anyway.
Shout out to Lowell, you the man. Yeah, shout out, Dad, if you're out there. If you
shout out, Pops.
Eric, thank you. One more, and then we'll get back to our show. Thank you guys so much for all the donations. I meant to say Conies. Oh, yeah. Conies. That's the group. All right, I got you. Christian, 2018 Rams lose Super Bowl and miss playoffs next season. 2019 Niners lose Super Bowl, miss playoffs next season. 2020 Rams lose to the Packers in Division 2020.
No, we're not putting that negative energy out here. Plus, the Rams are soft, and no, we're not doing that.
Nah. All right.
Nah.
Moving on. Realistic expectations for Kyle Shanahan in this game. This is an interesting one to me because to me he is one of the most difficult people to predict on the team. Jimmy is predictable. Kyle, he can be the best. He can be his own worst enemy. What do you think?
I think this is the masterclass that you're about to watch right here. And now that he has all of these weapons back at his disposal, how things are working and how that offense struggled in that first week 3 game, and the first, he had to go to Trey Lance to score that touchdown at the half, right? But then once he made that adjustment in the second half, everything started to click. And, if the 49ers make a defensive stand, they're 3-0. But Kyle, this is starting to set up a little bit like how he used to do Mike Pettin as a defensive coordinator. Joe Barry, you're about to get worked.
Right.
Like you're about to get worked now because that toss play is disgusting for a few reasons. Because it duplicates the outside zone, and then you get guys flowing that way, but they always have a built-in cutback lane for the guy to go right back to. So for everybody who's asking, why are you tossing the ball straight back? It's because you want to show that look, have them over pursue, and then hit them right back where they're not at. And that's why it doesn't matter about how you stop the run, anything like that. If you aren't in your spots, they're either going to get you with your over-aggressiveness or you not being aggressive enough. There's no way to be in the middle. So this is going to be a game where Kyle's going to eat up Joe Barry, I think, with the run game. Trey Sermon was fine in that first game. He was fine, right? Like he was fine. Even though Kyle Juszczyk was the first running back out there, he was fine. But Elijah Mitchell,
that was crazy. Wasn't it like a fullback dive on the first play of the play of the game?
Dude,
what? Like, this team has come a long way, Jason. Long way.
That's why
you'll forgive us if we scoffed at this team in October. Like they were doing some highly erratic things.
Yeah, my bad. We're not faithful when the team is not showing you anything.
Our collective quality control effort did something because they really had like an epiphany in freaking November. It was amazing.
So again, with the running game, the added wrinkles that they have, the things that Mike McDaniel put in, the fact that Tom Compton now is like God level right tackle all of a sudden, and Alex Mack is playing better. This sets up for Kyle Shanahan to be able to pick his spots with Jimmy to throw the ball, not have him in bad spots where it's like 3rd and 9, 3rd and 12 that he has to, just do not any false starts, penalties, anything like that, and just limit it to 1 turnover. And I think Kyle Shanahan is going to be in his bag. You will see a whipping like you saw with Mike Pettin, just not with a higher score like that. Like, there's going to be instances in this game where you're like, the Packers can't stop this run game at all. And they're just moving the ball at will. But it won't be the same way that Mostert was cribbing those 4 touchdowns in that game, right? Like, they're still going to get tackled a little bit closer. That's because Mostert's different.
Those are great expectations, but I don't necessarily disagree with them. Okay. Maybe 00 says Mitchell is everything Kyle wished Coleman was. True. And Deebo will fill Mostert's role for explosive plays. They will control and win this game for us. I feel like I had that epiphany a few weeks ago. I tweeted, as long as these 2 guys are healthy, they can beat anyone, and the quarterback doesn't matter. And they could have Trent Dilfer in his prime, and I think the Niners could probably beat most teams right now. So, yeah, with you.
Yeah. It's funny to see the shift from 4 guys getting the ball to now just Elijah, you, and then like we'll throw in a little bit of Deebo. Like, it's crazy to see the shift in that.
Why does everyone think the Pack will blow us out? We always play them tough, and they have to prove they can stop the run against us in the playoffs. All right, boom. Last topic of the show, and then we'll finish the questions. Realistic expectations for the 49ers in this game. They are 6-point dogs, which is crazy to me because everyone on TV understands how well they match up. Really, I mean, it's very obvious. The Packers have no run defense. The Niners are the best rushing attack in the league. Yet they're 6-point dogs. What is the realistic expectation here for them?
First of all, I'm smashing that spread right there. Like, I'm taking that for the 49ers. 6 points, out of your mind, no chance.
Wow, 6. Yeah.
But when you're looking at the teams, again, I keep going back to it. That week 3 team is not the same team, and they barely beat that team. And they had an entire half of ineptitude on offense, an entire half of ineptitude. And that I don't suspect will happen because the run game is popping right now. So it's different.
And Valdez-Scantling was healthy for that game, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, look, MVS is a fine player, right? But like, they lost Tunyon, right? But like, look, they're a little bit different too. Jair Alexander played in that game. They're getting Bakhtiari back. So now, like, things are a little bit different. You kind of have to hope that they've been coasting for weeks and really haven't had to play any meaningful snaps. You kind of just hope that they come out a little bit flat. And if the 49ers win the toss, you receive that thing. You do not defer. You receive that thing and you set the tone. Set the tone immediately. Go down the field and do it like you did in Dallas and let them know this is how this game's going to go from here on out. And if they don't do that Dallas is the one who deferred. So it's different. But Dallas knew right after that touchdown, they were like, oh, shit, this is what we're in for this entire game. Yeah, like, yeah.
You go the other way. My bad. Yeah.
Right. So, again, they got to set the tone. Like, especially, like, in that environment, I doubt they'll defer, right? I doubt it, right? Like, the way – I doubt that they'll receive. They're going to defer. Like, that's what Kyle wants to do. Kyle's trying to set it up where score, double dip, and then, you continue things going in. It's a good strategy. But for me, punch them in the mouth right away and let them know this is the type of game you're going to expect. Run that clock down, 6 minute, 7 minute drive where you methodically go down the field and let them know this is what you're in for in this game now. Can you adjust and can you play this style of football? Because we're going to drag you into the fight that we want to be in, not the fight you want us to be in.
Give me a final score prediction.
28-24 49ers.
I feel like everyone's right at that. I've heard that score. Not that exact score, but I've heard people – I don't necessarily. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet, but that sounds very reasonable to me. 28-24 does. I think 20. I've already said I think the Packers are going to get 24. I'm not sure with the Niners. The Niners offense is so unpredictable to me, and it's like it's half by half. 28-24. I like it. Any other expectations for the game?
Robbie Gould's going to kick a 60-yarder and shut me all the way up, man, because he's been the most consistent special teams player the last few weeks. No, look, the concern that I have is special teams. For sure. And, the roughing the kicker extends the drive.
Better not cost them the season.
You do that against Aaron Rodgers and you extend drives, you're just asking for it. Josh Norman saying, they were like, hey, Norman, we want you to play gunner. Wait, what's that, coach? You want me to run to the middle of the field and not cover anybody? Gotcha, buddy. And then that's exactly what he did. Like, those sort of things. Richard Hightower was pissed, man. Richard Hightower was pissed. Did you hear
what he said on Tuesday?
Yes.
Guy ran a good route. It's like, oh God. Wow. He's like, it What do you want me to say, right? What do you want me to
say? Even the punters are looking like, oh, Norman's out there. Let's take a shot. Let's go at him real quick. But it's Richard Hightower, for a fact, told him, listen, Josh Norman, you haven't played special teams in a long time. Just go stand over there with that guy and go run with him and stay over there. What's that, coach? You want me to turn around and not cover anybody? Heard you. Runs out on the field and does that. So special teams is the only concern that I really have, because I hate to say it, 49er fans know it very well how their season could come to an end based on special teams, but that was just one guy when that happened, and I'm not talking about his name specifically, but that was just one guy. This seems to be a failure in units and a failure for the entire group. And the only thing that's keeping me at least a little bit safe, my bad, Grant, is that the Green Bay Packers special teams is worse than the 49ers.
That is true, but it was so interesting. Like I've done a 180. I was not really into this roster coming into the season. I didn't think it was that great. And now I'm like, man, it's the best roster in football, aside from their quarterback. And I'm thinking, only Jimmy is going to hold this team back from winning a Super Bowl. But no, that is not true. It could be special teams, and that would be even more painful. Far more painful if it was freaking Markin Zoucha or Travis Benjamin, someone who's not good, not even highly paid, that ends up sinking this season. And it could happen, and that would be a real gut punch, because it would feel like not a wasted season, but a big missed opportunity. Big missed opportunity.
You know what else, too, is I was watching the 2019 game just to have some fun before I went to sleep, and I noticed Richie James actually returned a punt past 7 yards. When's the last time you've ever seen somebody return a punt past 7 yards? Like, can we get one of those, something that puts you in position? I really think Deebo Samuel is going to be playing special teams and returning kicks in this game. Like, they're definitely going to empty the tank here.
He did it against the Rams when they fell behind. I don't know if they never actually let him return it. I mean, the Rams didn't ever let him return it, but he was back there the whole game. All right, let's take these questions and bounce. Do you think DeMeco spoke was solid this week?
I don't know. I hope so. That'd be cool.
I would think so. I would absolutely think so. Solid ain't doing nothing, and he's a generous guy.
Solid's getting ready to go to Mobile.
True. If the Niners lose both Rand Carthon and Adam Peters, who would you like to see them replaced by? Hyde, Grant, and Jason. That's a Jason question.
That's hard. That one's I don't even really have one, but I mean, it does seem like
I would imagine there would be people in the organization that they would probably promote.
Probably, but I think the Giants are about to like finish the Adam Peters thing. Like I think that's done. He already finished his second interview, and it's been coming out little by little that his wife would only want to go to New York or stay in San Francisco. So I think this is it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wish I had a better answer for you, Rob. I really just haven't thought about like who could be the potential replacement.
Who do you think he'll bring with him as his coach?
Oh man, I don't know if it's gonna be Mike McDaniel. They'll probably pair him with Flores from Brooklyn.
All right, that's cool. I like that. Niners are 7-0 and Jimmy has no turnovers. Yeah, there you go.
Most teams really win games when their quarterbacks don't turn the ball over. By the way, though.
Yep. Kittle, the Canadian, is key to cold weather snow.
That's it. He played at Iowa, dude.
It's true. My bad, boys. Thought you said Rodgers. Here's $5. Feel like Grant doing the Happy Gilmore apology to Kyle for saying he should be fired and traded. Okay, I will do the Happy Gilmore apology, but he has to win the Super Bowl first, all right? He got real close 2 years ago, and I almost gave him the apology, but I was happy that I held back because it allowed me to be snarky for the last 24 months, and I've enjoyed it. I'm just saying. All right. I believe the Niners will beat Green Bay. Secondary has done better since week 3. 30-20 Niners win.
Talk to him.
Kittle, the Canadian, is key to the snow. He said this is his dream game. Bet the over. And you expect him to be featured and rise to the occasion.
I think he's going to have a big game this week. Whatever his prop is, I'm smashing the over on receiving.
How do you think the Packers will handle the evolution of Deebo and how he's now used in the offense? Do they have linebackers and guys who can run with him and tackle him? Like Michael Parsons.
Right. They got pass rushers. Like Devontae Campbell is pretty good, but I mean, but that's the thing is there's no way to stop this man. Like there is no full.
He's all right.
Yeah, like there's no way to stop this man. Like there's nothing you can do. Like you just have to hope that he's not popping those off for touchdowns. Like there's really nothing you can do. That's how special he is this year.
Explain this Rodgers hero worship. How are all these people mentally blocking out how bad he has been in the playoffs, similar to Peyton Manning? Seems to be nobody can beat Rodgers except Rodgers. There is something about Rodgers where I don't trust him in the playoffs.
Well, he is just like what we were saying with the Rams, with Dallas. Punch him in the mouth a little bit, and he's just going to be like, I don't care, man. I'm going home. Yeah. Like, I don't really care. Yeah. Like, everybody's already going to love me. I don't really care.
That's done. That's his attitude. It's like, you know what? It's not my fault. No one's going to blame me. So I'm taking my ball and going home. Deuces. Yeah. I don't like that. Because look, everyone agrees he's better than Brett Favre, right? But Favre wasn't like that. There was a tough guy thing about Favre that was endearing, easy to root for, even though I hated him. But I mean, everyone loved Brett Favre back in the day because of that, right?
Yeah. So like, I think
what,
that team takes that identity. That team takes that identity a little bit too with him. Like almost like, oh man, they're hitting us. What are we supposed to do? Well, I don't want to play anymore. I'm going home, dude. I don't care.
Well,
I'm Rodgers. Also, I'm gonna get the MVP. I don't care. Like, you know, like, and who knows if I'm even gonna be back here next year? I don't care. Like Rodgers has that attitude.
That's it. That's the attitude. Do you see Wilson Jr. getting any reps? Yes, he'll get reps. What about carries?
He's not touching the ball. I mean, they use him in that tight end position where he's just coming. They like his physicality so he can go and block. But I mean, this is the Mitchell and Deebo show.
Grant, my mom went to high school with Wee Man from Jackass.
Wow.
Kind of glad he's not my dad, even though I'd be.
Yo, he's a little bit of a jerk, man. All right, so in my town in Hoboken, right, like I'm walking around and it's clear that he's like, I'm like, oh shit, like it's clearly Wee Man. And I'm like, hey, bro, I'm like, yo, what's up with the picture? He's like, yeah, really? I'm like, bro, how dare you, man? Yeah, like how dare you, bro? Like you should be happy that anybody even noticed you. And like whatever, he took the picture, but he wasn't nice about it, bro. I'm surprised. You would think a guy who spends his time being shot out of cannons and like shaving his pubes and like drinking beer all day would be really happy all the time. But I guess it doesn't work that way.
You feel about him the way I feel about James Franco. Grant and Jason, did you hear Deebo in the presser today as he was leaving say he don't like interviewing with Jennifer? That she just I didn't hear that at all. Really? Oh, that's not nice.
I did.
I didn't hear that. Huh.
Yep.
Expected number. It's not nice. Expected number of Roger sacks.
4.
I was gonna say
4. And for the context of what he said was he said it under his breath. He didn't know that the mic was still going, and he was just like, man, he was like something like it's inaudible. And then he says, man, Jennifer asked some questions that irks me.
What did she ask?
I don't know, but I heard and the audio's out there. It's out there for anybody to find on Twitter.
That's weird.
At least hold on. At least there's other beat reporters that get players mad. It's not just you.
I know, but it's like I understand when they get pissed at me because like I bring it on myself. Like,
of course.
What the hell did Jennifer say? I mean,
what
did she say?
She never really strikes me as anybody who's like asked a question that's out of pocket or anything like that. Like Eric Branch at times he just has trouble getting the question out. Like, you know, like I've never really heard any like and look, all right, this is probably already gonna get me banned from even like doing this or whatever, but they just give them a lot of softball questions anyway. Like nobody ever asks.
Man. You should be happy you're not in Philly.
Nobody asks the tough questions. This isn't New York media, like at all. So,
yeah. I try dabble in it once in a while. People look at me like, we don't do that here, sir.
How dare you? Not right now, Grant.
Niners are 6-point dogs, and Jimmy is 13-5 as an underdog, which is the best winning percentage in Super Bowl era.
Telling you, this is just when you're leaving this man for dead.
You're right, man. Thank you for pointing that out, man. I love Jimmy G, man.
I'm telling you, everybody's going to say, oh, the thumb, the shoulder. He can't get it done. Watch. This is exactly the game that he's going to do this. And this is exactly when it's going to happen. And against Aaron Rodgers. And it's exactly par for the course with Jimmy Garoppolo.
He always plays well against the Packers, does he not?
Well, that week 3 game.
Well, I mean, at least he finished strong. Elijah says, new nickname for Kyle, call him Kyle Shenanigan. We're not making fun of Kyle's name while he's winning. When he loses, we're going back to the names, though. Michael Durant says, QC of QC, you owe Kyle a public apology for the hiring of DeMeco Ryans as DC. I do remember you saying hiring a rookie DC was – I've already apologized for that, but I can do it again. Yeah, I was wrong. And Kyle deserves huge credit, not just for hiring Salah, but hiring DeMeco too, 2 for 2. Home runs.
Yeah, what about this question? And this is something that people have been debating. Is DeMeco Ryans in year 1 better than Robert Saleh was in year 5 as a defensive coordinator?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I think yes. I have to say yes. Or at least I'm going to say that because Saleh's my guy. I can't do that.
Yeah, I was going to say you kind of like
he's at least as good. Say it like that.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
My favorite year that Robert Saleh had as a defensive coordinator was not 2019, it was 2020, last year. So when you lose those guys up front and you generate the pressure and you still kept them as a top 10 defense and you lost all those other guys, I was so impressed with him. Yes. But there is a world right now. Right. And there's a world right now where DeMeco in his first year is doing things with that same personnel that he didn't have to do in 2019, right? 2019 was all about drop everybody in the cover 3 and rush 4, and there's nothing else that you really have to do.
This now, better than that. Yeah,
and he's adjusting so well in game, man. So
that's what I'm saying. Like honestly, and I hate to bring it back to race, but the fact that, like, if he were a white guy, he would be getting way more consideration as a head coach now. But everyone's
Look at
like,
Dan Quinn.
slow down here with DeMeco. Like, Vrabel was on the fast track. This guy has the same resume as Vrabel. I think he actually should be getting, like, he should be like the top candidate right now.
Look at Dan Quinn. Look at Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn's one of the hottest names out there. And for what? I don't understand it, dude.
Like he's had his chance.
Right.
He's in his 50s. He's failed before. Look, man, if someone was asking this quality control over here, I would say hire DeMeco. I think that's the number one head coaching candidate on the market right now. I do think he is. DeMeco.
It's him or Flores.
Yeah. Flores already had. Hey, I know guys sometimes succeed on their second try. But of the guys who haven't gotten a chance yet, it's DeMeco, in my opinion.
Well, my thing is the guy had 2 back-to-back winning seasons, and they fired him. So Flores wasn't like failing.
That's a good point. And you know what? He didn't draft Tua.
No, he didn't want Tua. He wanted Herbert.
That's right. Andre, 3005.
Wow.
After a win Saturday, do the Niners finally get some media love, or do we stay underdogs on the quest for 6? I'm hoping the opposite, the second. Because that's how I profit from SportsCenter not talking about the Niners. So please keep not talking.
Nobody ever talks about them. Nobody ever considers them that. They're always dark horse. It's always here it is, maybe. But everybody's picking Green Bay. Like the Packers media, for some reason, is trying to perpetuate this narrative that they are being overlooked. I guess they're trying to get their team hype. You are not the underdogs in this one, man. And there's a lot of people who are pointing to what the 49ers do well that doesn't match up well with the Packers. But if you look at the game picks, everyone and their mom is picking the Green Bay Packers. So don't try that.
Yeah, don't try that. Laura says, shout out my husband, Jacob. Huh?
That's our move. Like our move is the underdog thing. That's our thing. That's like you can't just take that and you. Who the hell is the number 1 seed off a bye and you're underdogs? Get out of here.
I know. Laura says, shout out my husband, Jacob, who always watches your vids. And thanks, Grant, for always scaring the crap out of me with your intros. That would be a good, alarm clock in the morning. Sorry. No. I refuse to believe that Kyle thinks Jimmy Garoppolo is still better than Trey. What is this all about? Do you really throw away a Super Bowl possibility just to keep Jimmy Garoppolo's trade value up? This whole year has been weird. I agree. I don't have an answer for you. What do you say?
He just trusts him more. And you know, I mean, in that Rams game.
How do you trust that man?
He trusts him more. He just trusts him more. That's it. He trusts him more, man.
I guess.
Not my words, his.
He just, I don't know if trust is the word. He knows him better. I know I can't trust you, but I know how I can't trust you and why I can't trust you. Trey's is an adventure that I think he's just not ready to embark upon.
Right. He'd rather ride with the known of what Jimmy Garoppolo is than the unknown, because you don't know where the bottom is. Trey Lance. There's going to be games where he doesn't play well. You don't know where that is, though. At this point, you don't know where that is.
And Kyle can feel confident that he can be at his best with Jimmy because Jimmy's a known variable, whereas Trey could be much more gifted, but Kyle's going to take some time to figure out how he best uses him. And we saw that in the Houston game. I mean, it was night and day from the first half. So anyway, I think that's probably what it is. But if they lose, I'm going to hammer Kyle for not playing Trey. I just want to point that out.
Of course you are.
Point that out. Niners pass rush is going to decide this game. Arden Key, Charles Menahu, DJ in the middle, and Dre blitzing will be the deciding factors.
Yep. And K1 too. I mean, you got to be able to bring those nickel blitzes at the right time. But yeah, it's all about situational stuff. And I have no doubt that DeMeco Ryans is ready.
I want to see the most convincing play action play on our first drive. 1 play touchdown. Make a statement. I may have just cursed us. Sorry. I guarantee they won't call a play like that with Jimmy Garoppolo in the first play.
Not the first play. No.
Is that a prop bet? Can I do that?
If there's a prop bet about what the first 3 plays are going to be, you got to smash run.
You got to smash that. Josh Norman is the Russell Westbrook of the 49ers.
That's high praise for Josh Norman and kind of disrespectful to Russell Westbrook.
I would have to say so. Why in the hell were we trying to block a punt against Dallas?
Thank you. That's what I'm saying, right? Like, again, special teams. Learn. All you have to do is get the ball back. You're lucky that Dallas's offense was inept. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Jimmy the arsonist versus Rodgers the narcissist. Oh, it rhymes. I love it.
Stop giving this man material, please, guys.
Great, you're hilarious. Keep up the good work. Only Niner channel I watch, and let's go, Mitchell and Deebo. Thank you, Joseph.
Wow, catching strays. Only Niners channel that he watches. Catching strays over here.
What about Jason's?
What about mine?
Thank you, dude, who I can't pronounce your name. How do you think you pronounce his name?
Sachin
Deshpande. It's a good name. Thank you.
Let's say the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. David says, do you think Lance can have a Pat Mahomes or Lamar Jackson type impact in his second year? dynasty if possible with him and Shan dialing it up. Well, he'll certainly have the supporting cast and the coach. Maybe. I'm not going to cap it. Maybe. He looked good, Houston, man.
And I think it'll be good for the entire team because they don't have that whole, like, is Jimmy going to play thing? And then everybody just knows you got to get on board. So
Andre 3 stacks plus a nickel says, after the Niners win against the Packers, do we finally get some respect from the media? Are we underdogs all the way through the Super Bowl?
I think we answered this one. Yeah, I don't think that they will. They're just like it's going to be a matchup between the 49ers and either the Bucks or Rams. And they're just going to be perpetuating the whole McVay thing and Stafford's out for blood or Brady. And they're just going to be on Brady. They'll never talk about the 49ers just because of that's just how it is with the national media.
Hoboken, have you been to the Cake Boss shop?
Dude, let me tell you something. Carlos's Bakery was fire before he got that weak ass show. And then he turned it into like this like chain of restaurants. Like literally you used to go there and like, if I'm pulling up to your house for Thanksgiving, I'm pulling up with some fresh pastries, a cake and everything. And it's beautiful. When he started that show, that's when the line from around the block started and a bunch of people from out of town are just going there just because of the show. And then it turned into this franchise thing. So yes, I know original Carlos's, but that place took a downturn when they started getting all that money. The only thing that was cool is if you live in Hoboken, you get to walk up to the front of the line and say, I'm a Hoboken resident. I'm not standing on this line. And they let you in first. So
Know Your Personnel says we have to come up with another name because our special teams ain't special. He's right.
Special.
I'm surprised it's taken us this long. What is it like? What would it be?
Just don't blow it up. Like, don't hurt us. Like, don't hurt us, team. Hey, net zero. The special team, they should be the net zero team. Here's why. Just look, we don't need you to add anything. We just don't need you to subtract anything. We need you to catch punts. We need you to cover in case there's fake punts. And that's it, man. And tackle. That's it. No one's asking you for big plays. Nothing positive, nothing negative. Just be zero. Be in the middle. Zero. The net zero squad.
They're the Bammer teams.
Bammer. Why? God.
It's way beyond mid. It's Bammer, man. We got sticks, stems, all of it. It's Bammer.
We don't like that Bammer weed here. We don't like that. We don't smoke that.
No, not in the SFC. I'm sorry. Florio had an epic Jimmy Garoppolo rant.
He did.
I haven't seen it. I got to check it out.
He cursed a bunch, man. They had to bleep him out. Like, yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Who told you he hates that guy?
Okay. Who had better offense, Dallas or Green Bay?
Green Bay because they say quarterback's
Dallas,
better.
But Green Bay.
Dallas did number-wise because they got to beat up on the NFC East, but it's the Green Bay Packers.
Y'all need to see Sims and Florio rant. Okay, I will check it out, I promise.
Yeah,
it's crazy how Jimmy can make these over-the-middle third-down clutch throws that everyone sees coming, but wide-open receivers he can't hit. Niner not a bot coming through today, man. That was a good comment.
That's Jimmy Garoppolo. That's the thing. That's why I'm done nitpicking. It is what it is, dude. And that's who he is. Like, he'll make a throw that you're like, wow, they should have seen that coming. Wide open guy, air mails it. Weird.
Yeah, weird. What if the Niners draft Deebo and DK Metcalf of 2019 draft?
Whew, good Lord. I mean, that's a problem.
Lord. Yeah, it would have been. Sachin. Thank you. How do you pronounce your name? That's what I want to know. Matt, I want to get it right. Matt H says, why does media make such a big deal about weather? Once the blood is flowing in game, it doesn't matter to players in the field because the media is 50 and it affects us.
And they're going to be cold.
And we're not athletes. Niners and DeMeco need to be wary of a Colt McCoy game plan employed by Rodgers. Horizontal passing game, multiple screens, a few deep shots. Agree. That's the best way to attack the Niners. Quick
screen game, and quick game. Quick game neutralizes the pat rush, and you know that Aaron Rodgers can get that thing out of there and put it in accurately.
All right, last topic. Julio says realistic expectations for this team. While I expect this team to win the Super Bowl with this stacked team, what will end up happening is that Jimmy Garoppolo will blow it.
Come on, Julio. Don't talk like that, Julio. Come on.
Or special teams. Can either of you name a more grueling gauntlet than Dak at Dallas, Rodgers at Green Bay, the GOAT at Tampa, and most likely a rematch with Mahomes? Not to mention the overtime game to set it up in LA. I mean, it's really quite a gauntlet. I would imagine the Niners are going to run out of gas at some point, and if they don't, even more legendary.
I am going to say something that's probably going to get me cold taked on here, but I got the Bills beating the Chiefs.
Hey, man, that's totally reasonable. That team looks tough. It could be their year. All right, I think we should slide out now. Thank you very much, everyone. This was an epic show. Thank you, Jason.
Shout out to you, Niner, not a bot. Nothing personal, bro. We got it. We're good.
Yeah, that was a fun show, man. See you guys.